So Ms. Ayad, you just finished teaching this lesson. How do you think it went?
I don't think it went too well.
Why not? Why don't you walk me through it?
Okay, so the kids are analyzing Gatsby by Fitzgerald, and they were annotating, they were creating student-generated questions, but I felt like they weren't too engaged in the worksheet. The graphic organizer was a little bit too difficult for them, and I think that hindered their engagement.
Okay, so that's good, because you realized what might have been a problem, so what's something you might do differently next time?
I don't know, I was thinking of maybe differentiating and maybe changing the chart. Do you think that might be a good thing? I know you watched it. What do you think?
Yeah, I took a bunch of notes. I think it went pretty well. There were some parts that were a little uneven, but I think so far you've mentioned one of my main things, which I think can differentiate a little bit more, and we can work on what that might look like. I thought your aim definitely matched, the whole lesson. And I thought your do now was good. I thought your do now was engaging. So where do you think you really started struggling?
Well, some of the students, when I put them into groups, they were really having a difficult time with the worksheet. And usually I rely on the head of the group to bring them back, but even that student was a little bit troubled. So I don't know, maybe, do you think if I kind of break it down a little bit, you think that would help them?
Yeah, and I think grouping is important. I don't know how you group them. Typically, well, why don't you tell me how you group them?
Oh, I don't really have groups. You think I should? Like, I don't have like a set group. I just put like a head student that's a high, but I don't really group anyone else. I'll just put them in.
Okay, so one of the big things we're using this year is data. So how might you be able to use data from your students, which we'll get to later, to help you create groups?
So maybe I could put the students that are performing low on the data with the students that are performing high.
There you go. That's a good start, right? So I already wrote that down in notes for you.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Right? Yeah. See? No big problems here. So you want to move on to the lesson, perhaps?
Oh, sure. So do you think my standards were aligned to the aim? Because I know you said you like the aim.
Yeah, I think your lesson is very good. I think, the aim is there, your objectives are clear, the standards are there, everything lines up. I think this is good. So now it's just a matter of going through the process and seeing what works and what doesn't. So we went through the do now, right? What's the next step that you think? What do you think went really well?
I think the lesson when the students were annotating, I saw them all taking out their Post-its and actually looking through the book. So that's something that we struggle with. Why do we have to annotate? But I was really proud of them annotating. I don't know if you noticed it.
I noticed their buy-in was really good for
Yeah.
that. They seemed to understand the importance and why they were doing it. That was good. Other things that I saw, especially during the time, the kids definitely had an idea of what was going on, what was important, classroom routines, right? Something I suggest is having a rubric on the board, on the desk, something like that.
Okay, so maybe if I taped it on the desk.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, my notes.
Especially with grouping, that would be good. So if they know their role.
Yeah, they have their specific roles, right? It's easier for them to understand.
So I like your idea with the rubric. Do you think maybe I could apply that to the grouping that you were talking about also?
Yeah, I think once they know their roles, they're able to kind of correlate the rubric to the roles, so it just establishes a routine, which makes it easier for you to get things done, and facilitate more than just teach and really be on this one, right? Get the stronger students to be the leaders, and everyone else will hopefully fall in line. And you can totally mix it up too, so it's not just like one kid is stuck with the same role, right? Does that make sense?
I like that, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. The lesson itself, like the group activity, I thought was really good. All but one kid was engaged. I went over there, I spoke to them. They said they weren't feeling well. I know you weren't. So the lesson I really enjoyed, right? Everyone was engaged. The only thing I would suggest is somewhere in the lesson, it'd be good to see some more student-generated questions, right? Instead of you leading, again, going back to that facilitation idea, right? And the only thing I would be nitpicking about in the group activity would be student-led discussions, right? What could you possibly do to try and get them to talk to each other?
Okay.
Right?
Maybe implement a talk guide or something.
Talk guide would be good. You'd probably add that to the rubric, right? That'd be good too. Do you want to tell me about your exit ticket? I know I said we were going to talk about assessments.
Right. So my exit ticket was for them to pick a quote that they felt applied to the theme we talked about for Gatsby. I didn't get to look at too many of them, but I think for the most part they were understanding the themes that we were discussing.
Right. That's good. So how do you use that? Like tomorrow?
I usually differentiate, so I know that I have to work on a chapter again if all the students aren't understanding a key aspect of Gatsby or any chapter we're reading.
Cool.
So I could go into grouping also.
Right.
So
Okay. I want to throw you off here. But how might you use those exit slips in your next class, next period?
Definitely, I already saw one kid who struggled with some vocabulary, so maybe I'll go give them a vocabulary key for, because that's just something we can get out of the way, and then they can read deeper into the text. So I'll definitely do that.
That is
because I'm
good.
teaching the
Yeah,
beginning
very
period.
good. Those are the things I didn't think about. Otherwise, I thought it was very good. I thought it had a lot of key elements in it, things that we were discussing. I think you improved tenfold. Do you have any questions for me on this?
Well, so you thought that did you think my exit flip aligned with the
I thought it was good because it helped answer the question that you guys were trying
The
to answer.
theme.
Right. I wanted to see what you would have done with that information, right? Because I saw that some kids were struggling with the exit ticket, so I wanted to see how you would have done tomorrow and also adjusting to your lesson for the next period.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use all these notes that you gave me for it.
Cool. And I'm going to type this up and I'll get this back to you by the end of the week and then we can
Meet again.
yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for talking to that student. He snapped back the sheet.
Absolutely. That's
I'll meet you tomorrow.
okay.